When I first moved to Thailand, I moved to Chiang Mai, and I loved living in Chiang Mai. It was fantastic, but I always felt that there was something missing. I'd had a dream for a long time since I was in my early 20s to live in the countryside, and in particular with a mountain view. But life was in Chiang Mai and it was good, so that was where I remained for quite a while, until one day, having a conversation with my wife, she suggested that we buy some land rurally and move out of town. I liked that idea. Didn't know quite how it was possible, but we decided to pursue the idea. And there was still this doubt, almost a fear in my mind of moving as a foreigner into a rural Thai community. I just wasn't sure if I could fit in or not. I was pretty sure that I'd enjoy living in the countryside, but I wasn't sure about being a foreigner moving into probably an old traditional northern Thai village. As we did make the move, even before we'd finished building our house, we'd been made to feel very welcome, in particular by the headman of the local village that we were moving nearby to. So we'd bought land, we'd hunted for a piece of land, we'd looked at a bunch of locations, we found a plot just down the road that we really liked, but we couldn't close a deal on it. And so I suggested to Pansa that she come down and just talk to some of the locals. When we'd looked at the other piece of land, we'd had people just stop, local people just stop on their way past and chat. They were really friendly. So I suggested to her, just go down and talk to the locals and ask them if anyone's got land for sale in the area. I thought it was a better idea not to show my foreign face, because that can affect things differently. And so she came down with her mum, and within 2 hours was on the phone to me saying, "You've got to come and see this piece of land, it's fantastic." We've been living here now for 7.5 years. And there was a few other practical things that we were concerned about, as well as my uncertainty about fitting in with local people. We were concerned, well, we needed to have electricity, water, and definitely also the internet connection to the property that we were buying. It is possible to get these services bought in anywhere, but this pushes the price up and the logistics, all the headache of organising these things. So we did find this piece of land had those three things, and it was an easy choice then to purchase the land. It was also in a good location, a little bit elevated and off the floodplains, and this has become a really good choice, because now in the last 4 or 5 years there has been a lot of change in the amount of rainfall and the amount of flooding that's happening in the north of Thailand. So we had good practical reasons to purchase this property, and the bonus was that once we'd got the house built, we got a house number, we were able to go down to the internet provider and discover that instead of getting an ADSL line, which was all it was running out here when we purchased the property, they had in fact run a fibre optic line out here. So now we have the best internet that I've ever had. And this was one of the things that was kind of holding me back. You know, my dream had always been to live rurally, but there was always going to be that problem of having very slow internet or no internet at all if we lived in a more remote place. And when I first moved to Thailand, we were living just a little bit outside of Chiang Mai, down in Sarapi, and the internet was sometimes so slow we couldn't even open a email of just a few kilobits. So it was wonderful to learn that we were getting a fibre optic connection here. And so escaping the city was not so difficult, and the location that we did choose is a very easy drive from Chiang Mai. It's just a little over an hour. Most of the way now we've got 2 lanes each way that's divided, and not much of it is on narrow winding roads, which if you know Chiang Mai, you'll know that it's in a valley and it's surrounded by mountains, and you don't have to go very far before you're on steep winding roads, unless you come in this direction south, where it's not too bad at all. And so for customers coming down to stay with us at our homestay, at Suan Sok Homestay, it is really easy. And probably the most common things that our guests do tell us, particularly if they've only stayed one night, is they say that they had wished that they'd booked for longer because it's so peaceful here. And I can remember after COVID, our first foreign guest who had been quarantined for a few weeks in a hotel somewhere, and he arrived here in a rental car, and he told us that he'd been stuck in his apartment in his city somewhere in Europe for the whole time and hadn't been able to get out. He parked his car for 4 days, stayed here, didn't get in the car, didn't drive anywhere, just enjoyed going for walks with our dogs and sitting reading a book and enjoying the peace and quiet. And this is something that we love to share with our guests here, because it's something that we really value and cherish ourselves, is the serenity and the peacefulness of our home here at Suansok Homestay. And it wasn't only the Puye Bana, it wasn't only the village headman that made us feel welcome. When my wife had gone to see him as we were beginning to build the house, he told us that we're going to be part of their community. So if we're gardening at the top by the road and somebody stops for a conversation on their way past, we are to stop and converse with them and connect with them. And when somebody dies, we come to the funeral. When there's an event on at the village or up at the temple, we come and join in. We're part of the community. And certainly I have discovered this, and I continue to discover it. Even though, you know, we moved here for a few years, then we had COVID, so for a few more years, really, people have been very cautious about connecting, but it has started to happen more and more. And sure, we've connected with quite a few people, but now I'm discovering as time goes on, it's much easier to connect with others. And I go for a bicycle ride most mornings and see local people on the way, always nod or wave and say hi. There's one guy that I've been passing regularly for years, and initially during the COVID time he was riding, I was guessing he was riding to work, had his mask on, but I could always see a smile in his eyes. There was always a greeting and acknowledgement just in his eyes as we passed. And then as the COVID sort of petered out and finished, he stopped wearing his mask and there was always a lovely big smile on his face. And just recently, just the other day, I was down buying some barbecued pork down in a little barbecue bar down in the rice fields, and here was this friend of mine that I'd never spoken to, but only passed each other in the mornings. He was sitting down there having a beer, so it was lovely to meet him and catch up. And sure enough, this is his commute to work. He works down in Chontong somewhere, and this is his daily routine, and it's always lovely to give him a smile and a nod, but it was really special to sit down and introduce ourselves and have a bit of a conversation. And I'm looking forward to meeting him some more. And yeah, sure, meeting other people down at that bar, and then also at local shops. And then when we do go to events at the temple and different places, we are mixing in with the locals, and it is really lovely. People are so friendly and so welcoming. Even though I'm not from local at all, and my wife isn't local at all, but we've been made to feel quite welcome by most of the people that we live amongst. So our experience is more than just building a house. It's been becoming part of a community in rural Thailand, and it's been a real joy. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I realized the other day that this is the longest place. I've been here now just over 7.5 years, and this is the longest place that I've actually chosen to live. The house I grew up in, I was there for a lot longer, but this is the longest that I've chosen to live anywhere, and quite frankly, I'm not interested in moving anywhere else. And so I hope that we'll be able to sustain life here for a lot longer, because it is wonderful. And we also love welcoming guests here to our homestay to enjoy even just a little part for a few days of being here in this peaceful environment, this serene environment here at Suansok Homestay. So if you're in the north of Thailand, if you've got some time, book a room, come and visit us and enjoy the peacefulness here. And if you'd like to check out another video about the local bar, check this one out next. Thanks very much for watching.